Hey, this is Stacia, and I am delighted to show you a game from the Parma Chess Club. Played 2 days ago, Tuesday. 2 days ago for me, anyway. And I just realized I did not put the opening in, so let's do that. Drum roll, please. Okay, we saw a Scotch Gambit, by transposition, actually. So in round number 1, I played against Patrick Connors, who I've played before. You can find the games on my channel. And, you know, Patrick is an interesting player. He plays a different opening every game. So I don't know how he knows all these openings, but I was not expecting to get this position. Okay, I was expecting this position because after knight to f6, Patrick has played knight to g5, I think twice. And we had a couple games, maybe just one game actually, where he played the queen f3 line. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I can show you very quickly. You play d5 here, takes, knight a5 attacks the bishop, check, here, takes. We take with a pawn to gain tempo on the bishop. We don't care about our structure. And white does have this interesting move, queen f3, which is what Patrick played against me in the past. And we had an interesting game where I sacked my rook, but later trapped his queen. Don't you hate that? So anyway, I was kind of expecting to maybe go back into that. But instead, after knight to f6, he played d4. And I was like, okay, what? I knew this was a move. And then I started thinking about it. And I was like, oh yeah, I can take this. And, you know, this is basically, isn't this a Scotch Gambit now? Like by transposition. You know, like the normal way you get into the Scotch Gambit is like here, here, and instead of that bishop move, white plays here, the Scotch. And when you take back, instead of a normal Scotch where they recapture, white can play bishop c4, and that's the Scotch Gambit. And that's the exact same position, right? I think it is. Okay. It is, as far as I know. So, basically, I thought he would probably play e5 here, and that is what he did. So after e5, I think we pretty much have to play d5. And after this move, I think I'm going to open the opening book because I want to confirm. Yeah, white usually goes bishop to b5. And now our knight's attacked, so we need to move it, so knight e4. And I've had this position a couple times in tournament games now, and I have studied a couple Grandmaster games with middle game ideas, so I feel a lot more comfortable in this line than I used to. And of course, white cannot take the pawn, the knight is pinned, so that is what Patrick did. So here we reached an interesting moment. Now, in the past, I've played this move, bishop d7, of course. Like, what could be more natural? We just break the pin. And, you know, usually white will take, and we can just take with a pawn. And, you know, if you play against the Scotch, you're going to be familiar with this pawn structure and learn how to play with it. I mean, I have the two bishops here, so that's some compensation for the bad structure. Okay, but instead of that, this game I played a new move recommended to me by Michael Jolson. Now, he told me this move like probably a year or two ago, and I've been too scared to play it, but I was not scared. I was like, yeah, I'm going to play it. So that's a good sign. Okay, so what's going on here? You know, white is threatening, you know, to check us and fork us and everything else. we're going to get crushed on c6. But the knight is kind of pinned to the f2 square. So this is an interesting position. And I actually don't think white should take here. I'm not going to say what white should do. But okay. Yeah, my opponents do watch my videos, by the way. I've learned. Hi to any opponents. Hi, Patrick. Okay, so I think Patrick played bishop takes knight check, which he probably shouldn't do. And after I take, you know, white could take here and attack my queen, and, you know, that wins a pawn. And what could be more lovely? But yeah, that's actually not what white should do. So he realized that his f2 pawn was hanging, so in this position he castled. And after castles, I did calculate this when I played bishop c5. After castles, I saw that I have the move bishop a6 attacking the rook. And that might not seem like a big deal, but if white goes rook e1, we actually have knight takes f2, and this did happen in the game. So it's not often I get to sacrifice material, unless it's a pawn, of course, then every game. But yeah, I sacked. And I was rather excited to get this on the board, so I took that with great confidence. And then Patrick did sit and reckoned with this move for a long time, almost 10 minutes, I think, which gave me an advantage on the clock, at least for a little while. So I don't think white has anything better to do than to take this knight. I mean, you kind of have to take it, don't you? I guess you can move the queen, but that seems very difficult, right? Like, if queen d2, for example, I think we can just go back knight e4. And the knight's still pinned, and the queen's attacked again. And I don't see what's accomplished there. And obviously, the queen can't go here because we would take it. And if the queen tries to sneak off and do something else, well, then this knight is hanging, and we could just take it. So I do think that white should take, and the engine agrees. And here's the point, queen h4 check. So this is a fork. I'm forking the king and the bishop. The bishop was defended once, but now it's attacked twice. So after he played king g1, I took the knight. I was curious about g3 here. Let's see, what was I going to do in this case? Well, if g3, yeah, I was definitely going to take on h2. Computer's not giving that move, which is scaring me. Wow, it says maybe I shouldn't do that. You know what? That kind of makes sense, because the point is to get my material back. If I go doing stuff like this, I'm not getting my material back, right? And then king f3. I'm not on this twice anymore. Black's still better here, according to the engine. The best move is g5. Wow. g5. Now that is a free pawn. So if white takes it, then we go queen h5 check. We find a new and fun way to get our material back. Either that or the king's going to go for a walk up the board. Not recommended. So, okay, interesting variations. Instead of that, we saw king g1, and I took with a bishop. You actually do have your choice here, and both look interesting to me. But I did decide to take with a bishop. I was kind of like, well, whose king is more safe? And I thought, well, I guess mine will be. I'm about to castle, and, so I wanted to keep queens on the board. And I did see that after king to h1, I actually saw this too. I don't know why I saw moves this game as opposed to my normal way. My normal way of playing chess, not seeing moves. All right, so there's two ideas with this move. The first one you probably see. the rook is trapped. The rook has no squares at all. So that is pretty nice. But the second idea is bishop g3, threatening checkmate on h2. And this pawn is pinned, it cannot take the bishop. So I thought, you know, I'm going to play this move. Looks good. So bishop to d2. Because what else? The rook doesn't have a good square. Yeah, and here I did almost castle. And then I was like, well, you know, I'm working on my time management. And if you follow my videos, you guys know that. I've been working on it for almost 4 weeks now. And I do think it's paying off, by the way. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to grab the material. I don't see how this could be bad. Yes, I know that the bishop takes back with tempo, and then I just played here. And I was like, well, you know, this is a nice little cheapo, and I don't know if I play this move again. I wanted to take this pawn, but then after this move, I can't take it. So I didn't like that so much. So I'm not sure if that was, in fact, the correct way to play. I guess I'll check with the engine. Yeah, the engine says queen g5. It kind of likes everything. Queen g5, queen e7. Attack it this way. Queen e4. So what is queen g5? Let's think about that one for a second. What's going on with that move? I'm not sure, other than I think all the moves attack the pawn. So there's 3 moves that are better than the one I played, basically doing the same thing. So not proud of that move, but I'm still doing quite fine here. Well, black's winning, to be honest. All right, so queen to b4 is what the computer wants. Thought about playing that, but instead I just went here. This is totally fine. Okay, knight to c3. White wants to activate all their pieces. So I think I should castle. Hopefully that's what I did. Yep. And now queen to d2 is played. So, you know, this is one of my hardest things in chess right now, is that when I do have a winning game or a much better position, it's like my brain turns off or something, and I don't know how to convert it. But I guess I should just play chess, and any material advantage will show itself, right? Like, I'm up the exchange and also a pawn, right? So the material advantage should show itself at some point. Yeah, so I decided I would play for this break, f6. I thought this is interesting because, well, I thought he was going to try for this move, followed by this, attacking the bishop. So I thought if he did this, I could go here, and if he did this, I could go here, and that's mate in 2, right? So f6 has a little bit of a bite to it. I'm threatening to open the f file. But Patrick did play the best move. Yeah, this one, e6 is the best move. So it's one of those disruption moves, I want to say. Like, I purposely put my queen on the f file so that there'd be no rook attacking my queen. So Patrick's like, haha, you're going to have to get attacked. And I was like, why? He said, no talking. All right, so I took this. Now he went knight a4, threatening a fork. I guess I would have this move, but I played this one instead. This was probably the moment where I slowed down and started burning some clock time on this position, because I'm on material. I know I'm doing well, but white's getting a lot of counterplay here. Like, you know, the knight's coming in, the bishop can take the pawn when it wants, my rooks aren't activated, this rook's going to come with tempo, Maybe the queen's gonna come in soon. Like, I have to admit, I was starting to freak out a little bit at this part of the game because I'm like, oh my gosh, please don't tell me I'm gonna lose this, right? But so I played this move because there's just no good square for this bishop on this diagonal, and I can't go here because that's still fork, and the bishop's blocked. So I decided I would bring the bishop to this diagonal. And as awkward as it looks, I want to move my queen anyway. So yeah, so if either of these moves, I can then move my queen, which is what I did. Okay, and I'm trying to unblock the e-file so I can go here, and I actually wanted to go here, I believe, so that I would have ideas of bishop h3. And, well, I guess that was the idea. Computer still says black's position is awesome, probably just from material though, because it wasn't all that easy to play. All right, rook to e8. I was kind of glad he spent a tempo to grab that pawn, because he could do that anytime, I think. a5. Okay. So, yeah, I guess I abandoned this idea. I forgot about this part. I wanted to go bishop a6. So that is why I played that move. Tempo on the queen. Okay, I do have bishop h3 coming. Not that it does anything. Yeah, I do feel like Patrick may have lost his way a little bit here because I felt like he had some moves to really keep me on my toes and maybe cause me to burn more time. But when he played this, I was a little bit relieved. His idea must have been knight to f4, attack my queen that way. So I think that was the idea. But the knight was quite good and quite annoying on c5. I actually think it should have stayed. Yeah, the computer says the best move is a4. And it also likes bishop takes a5, which I did think he would play. I mean, why not? It's a pawn, right? So I was a little relieved to see this move, took the pressure off a bit. Bishop a6, now the knight's pinned to the rook. And he retreated his bishop, so I guess he was... Maybe he was just trying to get comfortable so he could outplay me, like, on the clock, which is a valid strategy against me. That's why I'm working on it. So I decided to trade because why not? Yeah, and, well, to be honest with you guys, I don't remember what happened in this part of the game. I think we were both at 1 minute at this part, because I'm certain I would have taken the queen in this position. But we did not have a queen trade. It was a major piece ending. But I will tell you that I've been working on time management, and part of what I've been doing is meeting with people, like friends of mine from chess clubs. And one is Roy Allen Bumpers. He's awesome. I love Roy. Shout out to you, Roy. And also Charlie Rocco. And I played them over the board in Blitz just to help me break this habit of being panicky when I get low on time. Like, I do feel like I just need to get comfortable. I didn't used to be that bad playing in time pressure. I used to be pretty decent. I mean, decent for me, but not as bad as what I've been doing as of late, and not getting all panicky like I have been as of late. So playing those games, so playing a few hours of over-the-board blitz chess with some quick players must have paid off already, because I had 3 seconds left on my clock at one point, and I still played for a trick, and I did manage to convert the position. And I wish I could show the moves, but I could not reconstruct the game, unfortunately. But I did take a point on this one, so that is good. Now let's just quickly review the main highlights of the game. I always do this, you should too if you're trying to improve, just to burn those ideas in our brain. So we had a transposition from an Italian into a Scotch Gambit. And I did try out this new line, Bishop c5. I don't think I'll always play it, but I will sometimes play it. And yeah, after takes, I mean, I think an interesting move, it's still not good though, is knight takes c6. Because here, you know, there's discoveries and my queen's attacked. So a lot of times, you know, we're going to take here. That was the idea. King f1. Now we take, we allow the fork. I mean, this is crazy stuff, right? But king f8, I think, is a sufficient move here. And the reason is we're threatening bishop a6. And that is mate. I mean, it's pretty much mate. Like, white can sacrifice their bishop and their queen to avoid it, but that's obviously very good for black. So, yeah, like it's giving queen d3 to stop this move, and actually this position's still equal, but it is a chaotic mess, which is what I prefer these days. So, but in the actual game, I never saw this before. I don't think it's a bad idea what Patrick went for, except it did turn out to be bad because of bishop a6. If it wasn't for that, I kind of like his approach. He's like, yeah, I see that I'm going to take on c6 and maybe queen h4 or something, and, you know, there's so much pressure here, right? Like, I think he saw all that, but he must have missed bishop a6. And it's easy to miss, right? Like, usually this isn't open, but it is open now because the b pawn went here. All right, so I got to sack. I really liked bishop f2. I think that is correct. And I think starting here I would play differently. Like, the computer gives queen e4. Queen e4. I think I prefer queen g5, which is also a move. And then if bishop g3, we actually could play h5. I think this is pretty interesting. You know, because there is no h3, we win the bishop. So I think I would play it that way next time if I ever see this position again, or one like it. I like f6, and the computer does say that's the best move, so I'm glad for that. But my conversion was probably sketchy here. Like, I guess I should play queen e2 in this position, try to trade queens. Makes sense. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. And, well, the computer never really hated any of my moves. Doesn't love this one, though. Instead, I should go queen g4 here. I guess we want to provoke this move, I guess. And then queen to b4. Oh, wow. That's why it wants that. So we can double attack like this and threaten a queen trade as well. And the computer really likes trading queens, but especially in this situation, the rook just became active as well. So, okay, pretty interesting. Yeah, it likes this move. It likes... Yeah, I did something like this in the game, doubling on the e-file, but... And then he had counterplay with c4. So that's how I got down to 3 seconds, but... Okay, I guess that does it for that game, and I will be back with more chess soon. So thanks for watching, and Okay, bye.